part-time. Whose side are you on?
Millions of people around the country who work on the railways, hospital wards, schools, airports and many more of our essential services in both the public and private sector are members of trade unions which negotiate their pay and conditions. The men and women running these organisations heard Boris Johnson's clarion call to build a high-wage economy, but have found themselves in a bitter battle with a government that seems to be fighting against that very concept.
So are you and your fellow union bosses kind of holding the economy to ransom in terms of a summer of discontent?
What I'd say to that is that, you know, for workers, they've had a spring, summer, autumn, winter of discontent for years.
Sharon Graham is the General Secretary of the union Unite. She took over from Len McCluskey and immediately reined in much of the party politics, refocusing the union into a machine to deploy threats of strike action to push for double-digit pay rises, especially in sectors suffering a shortage of labour, such as bus drivers and rubbish collectors. For 6 months I tried to persuade her to do her first interview. When I did sit down to speak to her this time last year, she had a forceful response to the idea that rising wages were a particular inflationary threat.
If inflation's going up by 11% and you get less than that, you are taking a pay cut. So then you say, OK, let's look to the company who's doing this pay round. OK, this company has made millions, if not billions of pounds. Remember, we have forensic accountants looking at it. We're not just doing it on the back of a fag packet. Of course, those workers should get that inflation pay rise. And by the way, there'd be no reason why they shouldn't get more if the company had an ability to pay in terms of that particular employer. So for me, it's not one size fits all. But I do think that those types of comments from people like the Governor of the Bank of England, who, you know, is sitting a little bit pretty in terms of his own scenario, why are they only talking about one half of that equation? Profits have a place in inflation, but also in a negotiating room. An employer has made millions and billions in profit. Of course, I'm going to make sure my members get more money. They have been 300 disputes already and counting, and hopefully they'll be getting a lot more in the future.
That number, 300 disputes, has risen quite a lot since my conversation with Sharon Graham last summer to just under 900. Graham deployed a lot of effort breaking down massive national strikes into smaller, localised disputes for which it was easier to win strike ballots and so get round strict Cameron-era anti-union laws.
A lot of these disputes are in smaller workplaces and so may not have been noticed. But you are talking double-digit pay rises in some cases, some even above 20%, I hear.
Yeah, so Unite's uniquely placed because we have 19 sectors of the economy. We have finance workers, bus workers, dock workers, right the way through, actually, the entire economy. So what I've been doing is looking at each of those areas and coordinating action within those industries. So, for example, in the buses, we've had 46 pay disputes, and we've won the majority of those already. In the main, the companies that we're talking about that are taking us to the wire are making profits, and those companies now need to make sure that workers get a piece of the pie. I don't think that's militant. I think that's basically saying workers deserve to get more money in their pay packets. It's as simple as that.